Hey guys, today we're going over some more budget deck versions. So today I'm going to show you guys a budget version of Majespecter, and I think Majespecter is not only a decent deck to just start learning the game with, or just using this as one of your starting decks. The only cards that I think are super recommended will probably be, well, just Majespecter Draco Ryu if we can craft one of those. That is the only UR I would recommend, but you don't necessarily need these UR cards. So Majesty Pegasus the Draco Slayer, not required to play Majespecter, although it does have a lot of nice usage. It is not going to be required. Majespecter Draco Ryu, kind of in the same vein, where you don't need this card, but this card is very nice for a bunch of reasons, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But the majority of the main deck and even some tags, like for example Terratop, are fairly budget. We only need some SR crafts to do this, you know, just we need the Terratops, we need Kieran, and then we need the Majespecter Wind, and that's most of what we need. And then aside from that, that's we have Nue here and Totem Bird. So to explain what the deck does, pretty simple. We just will put up a bunch of guys on the field and we will tribute them off, and this will allow us to activate our spells and traps. And some of them, in this case like Majespecter Wind, will gain an extra effect. Some other cards, instead of gaining an extra effect, will just need to tribute for cost. So the primary weakness of this deck will probably be something like Evenly or back row removal, which can be countered in Archetype, I guess, with Totem Bird if you are able to make it. Kind of depends on exactly what board you have. But yeah, this is just a spell trap negate, and yeah, they'll just stop one Evenly or one Duster, and there isn't that much back row removal as of currently, so this will probably be sufficient. So simple idea here is to just special summon Terratop, add Takaton Borg, special summon the Takaton Borg, make the Totem Bird. The only thing you have to be somewhat aware of, I guess, starting out with this deck, is that you should never put your cards in specifically the middle main monster zone when you're summoning them, because you'll need that for a pendulum summon later. And more copies of Majespecter or Nue does help the deck out, same with having multiple copies of Majesty Pegasus. This will make the deck just a little bit more hand trap resistant. And this deck is fairly hand trap resistant. It's not going to be able to tank like 3 hand traps or anything, but 1 or 2 is maybe possible. So let's go ahead and show off the combo, I guess. So essentially with this deck though, we have several 1-card starters and quite a few 2-card starters. So in this case, Bunbuku is one of our 1-card starters, so this is combo, and we have the Terratop. So in this hand, if we're worried about getting hand trapped by like an Ash Blossom Joe Spring, which would potentially stop our play here, we can just use Terratop to not only bait out a potential Ash Blossom Joe Spring, but we can also use this to insulate our plays from something like a Nibiru if we're worried about that. And do not summon to the middle zone, because when we summon Orthros will go into either this zone or this zone, and it'll point here, here, or here, and here. So don't summon to the middle zone. And in this case, we'll do Totem Bird, I guess. Yeah, Totem Bird. And we'll just do it in attack position. Cool. Remember when I said not to summon to the middle zone? There is one exception to this rule, I guess. It's if we are specifically going to be linking off our Majespecter cards, then it's fine, because they won't be in the zone anymore. when we need to do the pendulum summon. So that'll be fine. Okay, so then we can just grab Porcupine, and Porcupine will special summon itself from the hand. So pretty simple combo. We just want to use, well, we either want to start off with our Raccoon or our Yata, and then go into our Porcupine. Porcupine is the only one that special summons from hand, so only thing we can really do here. So boom. We'll go into this, we go into Orthros, and then if we start with either Yata or Bunbuku, we will always have the appropriate pen scale. So Bunbuku is scale 5, Majespecter Porcupine here is scale 2, Yata is also scale 5. So we do this, and then we'll grab these two guys. They go back to our hand, and we'll be able to set them as scales. And then we send two guys with, or not send, we put two guys to our extra deck face up with this effect. So here in this case, because we're going to have recycled the Porcupine, I think it's decent to go for this way. So we'll go with Yata, I guess. And then we'll select one more card, and the card we want to grab here will be, I guess, Ogama is going to be a little bit better. So we'll go with Ogama, I guess. So it's between Ogama or QB, but Ogama sets any card from our, well, any spell or trap from our deck. QB here sets specifically only traps, so this will be marginally better. So there's our two, and now we'll just set the scales here. Do not negate the scales. Okay. Then when we pendulum summon, pretty simple. This is just the one card combo, right? So then we special summon the two guys. So in this case, we're going to set a spell with Ogama, and then we're going to grab the Majespecter Wind here with the Yata, and there is a reason for this. So okay, here we're going to set, well, actually we can set Tornado if we want, or Tempest. So Tempest is pretty solid, so we'll set this here. And then we'll, since we're playing it, we'll go into Majespecter Draco Ryu. And now we no longer need the Orthros for anything. This has no effect after we've used its effect, so we'll just use the effect of Wind to tribute. So now this will allow us to trigger the Majespecter Draco Ryu, and we'll also be able to do some other things, I guess. So here, we could just special summon QB and be satisfied with that. But we can special summon Majesty Pegasus, the Draco Slayer here instead. Well, I mean, we could special summon both technically, so we'll do that. It just really depends on what you happen to have in the hand. Now we'll detach. I guess the Yata is fine. And let's see. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Draco Slayer card or pendulum summoned, is the only way this triggers. So wrong sequence, happens to the best of us. But the important thing I want to mention here is that Majespecter Draco Ryu can actually cause things to miss timing if it special summons anything above Chainlink 1. Or, well, that isn't Chainlink 1 essentially. Because all of the Majespecter cards, so if we go to Bunbuku for example, they all say when, so that simply means we should Chainlink 1 to special them. And if they aren't special summoned as Chainlink 1, they will miss their timing. So yeah, whatever, this is fine still. So here we'll special summon QB, and this will add a Majespecter trap to our hand, and we'll just set it. And the other option here, I guess, was instead of special summoning the Majesty Pegasus, the Draco Slayer, we could just summon the Kirin, and this gives us follow-up plays for turn 3. But the reason you would special summon Majesty Pegasus here is that it can grab you any field spell in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So one of the things you might have noticed is that in this archetype, everything here is a wind spellcaster, believe it or not. And what does that mean? Well, since everything is a wind spellcaster, that simply means that we have spellcasters for Secret Village. Or we can grab a Necro Valley. We could grab, I don't know, if we really wanted to, we could grab a Raidsoth or something. So we could do that, and we also have Imperm in this hand, so might as well set it. So here we have, off of essentially a 1-card combo, we have 1 interaction with the Tornado, 1 with the Tempest, and then next turn we can use Draco Ryu to special summon a guy, I guess. So that's cool. And worth mentioning is none of the Majespecter cards actually have Pendulum effect, so no need to worry about that. Sure. And let's see. Whoa, we're cooking up here. Not much. Okay, Monster Reborn. Sure, that's okay. Grab Orthrus. End of main. Okay. So then we will do Affected Tribute here. We will tribute the QB. And then we will banish. In this case, we'll go with, I guess, the Dogman. This will now trigger Majespecter Draco Ryu. In this case, this is pretty convenient, I guess. So we'll special summon Kirin with this effect. And the reason we run 2 is because this only specifically special summons from the deck and not from the hand, otherwise we might be able to get away with running just 1. So now we'll bounce the Majesty Pegasus and also bounce the Orthros. And cool. That's it. This is a quick effect bounce, and we still have the effect of Tempest. So that was essentially 3 interactions. Depending on exactly what we have, we can get about 3 to 4 off of the 1 card. And this gets us some follow-up as well, of course. So here in this case, we have, I guess, enough guys. So, interestingly enough, Majespecter Draco Ryu actually does have a Pendulum effect, despite everything else not really having any Pendulum effect. So, if you have a Majespecter or Draco Slayer card in your other Pendulum zone, you can add 1 Majespecter card from your deck to your hand, but then you can destroy 1 card in your Pendulum zone. And this is optional destroy, so this is essentially able to add any Majespecter card from your deck to your hand. So we can add a spell or a trap off of Draco Ryu. And the fact that gets it there is if this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect or attributed, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. So unfortunately this can't bounce back our pen scales. Otherwise I would want to tribute Majespecter Draco Ryu here. But if we were to instead have Majesty Pegasus as one of our scales, that this would be an option. And there are lines where all of this stuff actually does come up. But very simply here, we can just relink into the Orthrus. So the awkward part about the Unicorn is it'll get a little bit stuck in our extra deck here potentially, but it should be fine. So if we have a second Nue, we would have like much easier follow-up here, but not necessarily required, I guess. So here we have these guys now, and we're gonna add cards to our extra deck face up. So we'll add Bunbuku, and then Crow. So Crow, Bunbuku. Okay, and then we can Pendulum Summon here. These two guys, we can even Pendulum Summon out the Majespecter Draco Ryu if we're feeling it. But it has no material, so there's no super good reason to do that. So we'll just do this. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do effect of Yada, effect of Bunbuku. And we have no more traps to add off of QB. We do have to be a little bit careful with our zones being too clogged though, so there's that. We add to our hand another copy of Porcupine. With Yata here, we should grab the Cyclone. So this is going to be able to be used as removal. If we had another Ryu, we could make it here, but we're running out of targets in the main deck anyways to summon, so it's not that big of a deal. But for this, let's assume our opponent has too strong of a board for us to just OTK for whatever reason. I mean, I doubt it, honestly, but in this case, the play you would go for is we would tribute one of our guys here. So here, in this case, either Bunbuku or Yada, I guess, depending on exactly what we're doing, what your deck list has. Maybe you have like a rank 4, maybe something else, well, whatever. So we'll pop this, and then we can special summon the Porcupine here. If we could, I guess we could attack with Bunbuku first, depending on like exactly what's going on. Well, I guess Majespecter Porcupine's effect to special summon is only in the main phase, so this is still fine. But the effect of Porcupine allows us to set any spell, specifically Majespecter spell, from our graveyard. So in this case, here we would set probably Wind or Cyclone to just use as removal again, and we can just Pendulum Summon Porcupine over and over again and essentially just keep doing this. So we still have some points of interaction, and we can probably now use these guys as material to do some extra deck plays, which we wouldn't have as easily been able to do the previous turn, because when we Link Summon and activate the effect of Niue, this will prevent us from special summoning monsters from the extra deck, except for Majespecter or Draco Slayer monsters. So that's 99.9% of extra deck monsters, essentially. So here we will just choose to do the Wind. And what we can do with Wind here is we can tribute one of our Wind spellcaster monsters to special summon Kirin, and then we'll bounce Porcupine, and we can just essentially do that forever. So that's just what our interaction just entails right now. And we still don't really have lethal, but that's just because I haven't put the guys into the extra deck that enable lethal like access code. But they're not necessarily required to play Majespecter specifically, but that isn't to say they aren't a strict upgrade. So I guess, yeah, before we continue on, it's also worth mentioning that all of our Majespecter cards in the main deck have this lovely effect. Let's see. While this card is in your monster zone, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, also it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this means that every single Majespecter main deck monster, well, all of them have this effect. They are, well, with the exception of specifically Majesty Pegasus, I believe, right? Yeah. So all of your Majespecter cards cannot be targeted nor destroyed, but Majespecter Orthros is able to be targeted. So this means we are extremely resilient to cards like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence, except for on the Niue, but there is a way to specifically play around Infinite Impermanence with the Niue. Several ways, actually. And that is where I guess the Majesty Pegasus can somewhat come in clutch. So we'll just go ahead and fish for a hand that enables us to actually utilize the Majesty Pegasus. So specifically, we're looking to, in this case, find a way to open a way into Majesty Pegasus. I mean, this combo technically works, so we'll do it this way, I guess. So here, we'll do Ogama Effect. This can be any Majespecter, shouldn't really matter too much, because we already have the Porcupine. So in this case, I guess we'll just set the Counter Trap, because that's a pretty solid card. Make sure not to set your cards on your leftmost or rightmost zones, because you need them for Pendulum Summoning. And then here, we'll grab the Majesty Pegasus here. And then we'll tribute the Toad. And also worth mentioning is all of the Majespecter cards, they specifically only say we tribute a wind spellcaster monster, which is why in this deck list I have put in the Droll and Lockbird. So Droll and Lockbird plus, for example, I guess the Majesty's Pegasus is combo, which is kind of funny, but alright. We're gonna keep going. So here we'll special summon Majespecter Raccoon, Bunbuku, and now we can activate the effect of the Bunbuku. And Bunbuku here is going to simply add from our deck to the hand the Majesty Pegasus, the Draco Slayer. Don't activate the in-hand effect ever while playing Majespecter. It's literally useless, so don't. But Majesty's Pegasus here has a pretty nice pend effect, so that's what we're going to use it for. So we just scale Majesty's Pegasus, and we just scale this with any Majespecter's card, and this will work. So for example, with Porcupine, we could use Porcupine, but Porcupine's better in hand, so we'll use Kieran. And we still have another Kieran anyway, so it's fine. So then we can activate the effect of Majesty's Pegasus. The scale doesn't actually matter here, so don't worry about that. And we can add Dynamite, and then destroy a card. We will definitely be destroying. So we'll destroying the Unicorn here, and it will go to the extra deck face up, and then we will scale our Dynamite, the Dynamite power load the Draco Slayer here. And this has a effect as well. So we can target one Draco Slayer or Dynamis card in our other Pendulum Zone, and then special summon it. So we're going to then special summon the Majesty's Pegasus here. And this will allow us to trigger the Majesty's Pegasus. The reason it's not triggering here on summon is because I don't have any other field spells here. But assuming we didn't have to start with Majesty's Pegasus, and we instead started with the other spell, so the other spell that we could use as a starter here, Majespecter's Wind, we can instead activate Majesty's Pegasus here. And at this point, our opponent would probably be very fearful and have to imperm this, because the card they would expect us to probably grab here is going to be Secret Village of the Spellcasters, or Secret Village, or whatever you want to call it. So we can grab this that card when we special summon Majesty's Pegasus, and essentially, of course, what Village does is our opponent, unless they control a spellcaster, cannot activate spells. But we as a spellcaster deck, we can activate our spells because we control a spellcaster. So we're just going to be vibing if we add that. So here, if they imperm or something, we can very easily then just go Orthrus and not have to worry about that too much. Orthrus can't be ashed, so we don't have to worry about that too much. So we can go here with Raccoon and Bunbuku. And then we are going to be able to add back. So in this case, we just need a scale 2. So we can use Majesty Pegasus as a scale 2 because it does actually have an effect. So we'll do this, and we'll grab back, I guess, Raccoon for the next turn, which should be fine. So that's pretty great. And then to our extra deck, we'll place a copy of Yata, and then a copy of QB. So then we can scale the Majesty's Pegasus here and perform a Pendulum Summon. So we'll do that, I guess. And we don't have to activate the Porcupine at all in this hand, so that is pretty nice, but whatever. So the two we didn't use, these two, are what we're going to be special summoning here. And then we don't have to do anything with these guys. Okay. QB Yata. And then we activate both. So there are a few different ways to play this, but there are two primary things we're looking out for. So we either add Cyclone or we add Wind, and then we will make our copy of Majespecter Draco Ryu here, and then we will be able to reset the Wind with the Bunbuku next turn and be able to use it on essentially turn 3. So that is a play that we can be thinking of here, but just to keep it simple, we'll just add the Cyclone. So we'll add Cyclone off of this, and then we add the Trap off of this. And here we have, off of this 2-card combo, we have follow-up for later. So as you can see here, from doing this combo, we have the Bunbuku here, and this would, if we don't already have it, we could use it to search for Porcupine the next turn and use this to make the new A. But alright, we can do this. And we'll just put this in this zone. It doesn't matter too much what zone we place this in, honestly, I don't think. But okay. We pass back here. And I'm really hoping this doesn't snipe itself. As long as it doesn't snipe itself, we're fine. Okay. Bigfoot. Well, we'll just ignore the snow. I don't think it adds anything that powerful. So here we can banish. I guess it's probably fine to banish. We could have waited longer, but it's fine. So we should be careful and be thinking about how the Majespecter Draco Ryu might resolve. If our opponent activates like Branded Fusion, it's kind of painful. So we should just activate the Tempest instead, versus, for example, a Branded. And the reasoning behind this is because if we use the Tornado instead, our opponent is going to have priority, and this is a trigger. Our opponent's effect will also be a trigger on the next chain. So gotta be careful of that, and then we might miss timing on the Ryu. But it doesn't matter if it misses timing if we're summoning Kirin specifically, so gotta keep that in mind. Okay. So here, we're going to, because we aren't going to be worrying about missing timing, and we're going to also be getting a guy to, I guess, add back to hand. I guess the best guy here is probably the Yata. So in this case, we'll do the Yata. And the Yata will just simply be adding us follow-up for next turn by adding the Wind. Or we could special summon, I guess, technically the Bunbuku to grab the Porcupine to reset our spell. But, okay. Card Destruction. This is why we hold onto Ash Blossom Joy Spring against this bot. It always has Card Destruction in its hand against me. It's actually kind of rigged. Okay. Negate. This should be fine. Alright. Xyz summon or what? Okay, Link summon. So here, we could negate the summon, but we also have the effect to, when a monster effect is activated, to destroy that card and negate the effect, right? So we'll allow this because it has the effect to discard a card. And then we'll tribute the Yatta here. And then we will activate the effect here to special summon the Kirin. So it seems like I made a small misplay. Instead of using specifically the Tornado, I should have actually used the Cyclone first. And the reason behind this is that I don't have any spells to set with the Porcupine. If I activated this, I would be able to, but it's not a big deal, I guess. But that's a small misplay. So here we're going to want to special summon the Porcupine, I guess. So we have something nice to bounce with the Kirin, that way we can bounce Kirin itself. Okay. Banish the Gobogo. End of main. Okay. So in this case, we're going to do effective Kirin, bouncing Porcupine to bounce the Thunderbird, so none of our stuff gets taken out by battle. And then if it manages to, oh, rough, that's fine. Well, okay. I intended to tribute the Kirin here, but alright, it's fine. So now we can't activate the Majespecter, but if we did play another Dynamite, the Draco Slayer, this is where the tribute effect matters. So here we would have been able to search another Dynamite Power Load, the Draco Slayer, and we can just pen summon it from the hand and it's just an extra body. But we would get the effective Majespecter Draco Ryu able to be resolving here when we tribute it over it with the Majespecter's Wind or Majesty's Pegasus. It would then become a scale here, and then we would get the effective search. But in this case, we can just do this, which looks a bit goofy, but I mean it gets the job done, right? So here we can do this, and then activate the effect of Wind. But here we could also do this, I guess, so we'll do it this way, potentially. If we had a second Ryu, we could make Ryu here to summon more guys when we tribute it here, like this. And this is a high scale, which is like a little bit unfortunate, but we could Pendulum Summon first if we still cared to do so. So here, this special summons from Graveyard, deck, and hand. So if we want to, we could bring back a Yatta, we could bring back, but we could special summon the Buku. In this case here, I don't think it really matters what we grab, because we're running a little bit low on the juice. But this is the just general idea of how to play Majespecter, I guess. And we can of course bounce the Porcupine back to the hand again with the effect of Unicorn. So we can keep resetting at least the Wind and Cyclone. And this guy is a bit big and we can't quite get over it, but this is usually what your extra deck is for, I guess. And this can destroy a card in the Pendulum Zone, so we can have it to destroy itself, I guess. So in this case, we'll just search a low scale, because we actually don't really need this anymore in our pen scale, so we can do that. Scale the Porcupine here, and then we're just pretty solid. I think we can get lethal here, so we'll be doing that, I guess. So here, let's tribute the smallest guy we have here, being Yatta. Special summoning from deck, the Raccoon. Have we activated Wind? We have, okay. Okay. Oh, the other Kirin is in our extra deck face up. That's a little bit of a problem, but it's fine, we can manage. So we're going to bounce back, I think, the it doesn't matter what we bounce back, yeah, because we'll just pen summon it. Okay. So we can bounce here, and then we'll pendulum summon these guys, sure. If we actually had, I guess, a real extra deck, you know, we have more options. So one option here, I guess, is that we can pendulum summon back the Majespecter Dracaryu and then just use it for SP Little Knight. But we wouldn't have lethal with that, but I mean, it is just an option we have, so. There's still a lot of things this deck can do, but primarily what we have left with just the Majespecter stuff is we're just going to keep looping over and over again the Kirin and also the Pop Spell Trap, right? And I'm just going to assume we can still Link Summon and somewhat keep our scales, so yeah. This is essentially what Majespecter can do, and if we're speaking about Tenpai specifically, this deck can go first decently well, because we just throw in this, and then no more spells are able to be activated by our opponent. So yeah, that's a game winner. And then Drone Lockbird is also, funnily enough, possible to use as part of a 2-card combo. So our combo starters, we'll just go over them. So 1 card, we have Majespecter Raccoon Bunbuku, and then we have Majespecter Crow Yatta. So Bunbuku just simply adds our copy of Porcupine. If we have a Yatta, then we use Yatta's effect to add Wind, and then Wind allows us to tribute the Yatta to special summon the Bunbuku, which allows us to grab the Porcupine, but if we start Yatta, then we can use Porcupine effect to set the Wind, which can be somewhat useful depending on the situation. And if we want to go a bit less budget, we can just simply do this, and this goes a long way. As you can see in the last duel, there were a lot of things we could have done with Majespecter Dracaryu and Orthrus Nue, but we didn't play extra copies, so whatever, it's fine though. You only need technically 1 for the deck to be functional to begin with, right? But for the grind game, of course, we'll want more. So yeah, that's about how that goes, I guess. And let's see. For extra deck, we can do a lot of generic things. We might do some, I don't know, just whatever we're feeling. So Apollosa is a good option because this gives us a bajillion monster negates, and it has good pendulum arrows for us to pendulum summon to. So this is a good card to have if we want that. We have access code to lethal our opponent, you know. And we can pair this with a Celine if we want to do that. And this places spell counters on this card equal to the number of spells on the field and in the graveyards, which we will have a couple of, and then we'll be able to special summon potentially like Majespecter Crow Yatta, which allows us to then grab Wind, which allows us to tribute the Yatta for the Bunbuku to add the Porcupine, resetting the Wind, and also potentially triggering Majespecter Dracaryu to summon another guy, which will just, in this case, be probably another body for us to use to kind of dome our opponent. If we really need to as well, we can just simply use the Majespecter Wind's effect to just special summon a monster from hand. This does not require a tribute, or it also works from graveyard, I guess, as well. But we can use this to special summon a Kirin from hand, which we can just reset like Nue this way with. And we can also bounce back the Nue and also bounce back the Majespecter Dracaryu with the Kirin to kind of help us out with our grind game a little. If we really want to care about the grind game, there's a simple one of that you can run, which I don't know, I have mixed feelings on this one. So with Majespecter, we have Supercell. While you have a Majespecter card in your Pendulum Zone, the activation effects of other Majespecter cards on your field cannot be negated. One interesting thing this allows us to do is it allows us to play through a skill drain. Or under skill drain condition, but I don't know how we got into Supercell to start, but cool. now our Majespecter cards in our on our field cannot be negated anymore. So that's great. If we got like impermed, for example, or hit by a forbidden droplet, that's what this would play around essentially. So if we're thinking about Tenpai, I guess because they play forbidden droplet and also imperm, Supercell is still somewhat useful, but I mean forbidden droplet is not even activatable under Secret Village, so does this really matter? Perhaps not. This is also a Majespecter card, right? Majespecter Draco, yep. So this is a Majespecter card, and this is also a Majespecter card. So, yeah. They probably work pretty well together. And the only one card that, the only Majespecter card, I guess, in the main deck that we aren't going to be playing is Nekomata, because this is too slow. It's not useful for anything, so don't need to run any copies of this. The only thing it would be useful for, I guess, is adding Porcupine, but I mean, honestly, who cares, right? A bit too little too late here. And I guess one funny thing I guess worth mentioning is if we want to play this, we can technically play this as well. So the effect of Dinosaur Power, the Mighty Draco Slayer, is that our Pendulum Monster cards in our Pendulum Zones, our Pendulum cards, well, our Pendulum Monsters in our Monster Zone and our Pendulum Zones cannot be destroyed by battle or by our opponent's card effects. So this plays around like a Raigeki and potentially a Lightning Storm a little bit, but only for our scales essentially, and not our actual back row. Not that useful. But what this can do is we can also special summon a Draco Slayer Pendulum Monster from our hand or graveyard. It can't be used as fusion material, but we can technically use this to bring back either a Dynamite Power Load, the Draco Slayer, Majesty Pegasus, the Draco Slayer. Or we could technically, I guess, use this, to trigger Majesty Pegasus Effective Search. A lot of things to be thinking about a little bit. I guess that's a way to get into Secret Village, huh? Okay. So we can also use that, I guess, to put Majespecter Draco Ryu in our spell and trap zone to do the effect to search, which is pretty nifty, I guess, because that the summoning method is to tribute, so it just works, I guess. So, I mean, it could technically come up, but yeah, I think probably not. So, yeah. Lot of things going on here, and one last thing to check is this. I have to remember if this Pendulum effect is actually relevant to Majespecter or not. Okay, during your main phase, you can shuffle one face-up Pendulum Monster from your extra deck into the deck, then add one non-Pendulum Draco Slayer or Ignite Monster from your deck to your hand, and there's no Destruction effect on this, right? But that does have, like, good scales at least, so for certain lines I can see this being, like, maybe useful, so I guess it's worth having a look at, potentially, but for the most part we should be fine without it, I guess. So, yeah. This is essentially just Majespecter, and for the extra deck, you can just fill it out with whatever we want here, and we can change out the generics for whatever we want as well. So, we could cut out this Ghost Ogre, the Drolls, the Effect Veiler, Ash Blossoms, Imperms for whatever we want. You can change Majesty's Pegasus for whatever field spell you want. But real quick, before we wrap it up, I guess we'll try to fish for one more hand. So specifically, we want to look for a hand where our Nue cannot be negated. But there is like one downside to specifically that hand. Okay, let's see. I mean, this technically gets there. Does it? Actually, opening the power load is just not very good here. We would have much preferred to actually do the surge. Yeah. That is probably why we would run two of those, just in case this happens, I guess. But It's fine. In general. Oh, so this end is just bricked. I mean, we still have like some interaction, which is kind of neat, but not particularly useful here. That was our first brick hand though. Alright, let's see. This hand should be able to do it. Okay. So if we start Yata here, so essentially all we need is to... Oh wait, both copies of Kirin are in hand. That sucks. But we're not going to worry about that too much. Okay, so... all we need for this to really work is we need Yata and Porcupine together. So here, we're going to activate the effect of Zakro. Zakro is going to add the wind. And here we're going to simply just special summon the Porcupine. And if we're greedy, the play that's better here is going to be to activate the wind to tribute the crow. Assuming we don't have any of these cards in our hand, we tribute the crow first for the Bunbuku, and then we can Bunbuku to add the copy of Majesty's Pegasus, the Draco Slayer, right? So this isn't going to be like that great to resolve, but what we can do here now is that we will be making Orthrus, right? So if we activate Orthrus here, and we're going to assume here in chain to our Orthrus, this is the first point where our opponent would be able to Imperm or Veiler us, because these two guys are actually not targetable. Let's assume here our opponent chains to an Imperm, right? So if we activate the wind here as chain link 2 to the Orthrus, this can't be negated at all because it sends for a cost. So even if our opponent has a second Imperm, third Imperm, second effect Veiler, whatever, this is no longer targetable because it is no longer on the field. So that is pretty cool. If we want, we can special summon this back actually, but no. Here, you might be thinking, oh, this is great, because now we can also special summon like a Bunbuku or a Porcupine or Crow or whatever. Well, I guess I think we can summon the Porcupine here, right? Yeah, but if we look at any of our cards that do searching, like the Yata or the QB, the Ogama, the Bunbuku here, all of these guys say when, so they will miss timing. So here, in this case, we would want to special summon, let's see, would we special summon this? Majesty, Pegasus, the Draco Slayer. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Draco Slayer card or a Pendulum Summon, you can add one field spell from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. Well, as it happens, this is not a Draco Slayer card, nor is this a Pendulum Summon, so the effect to search will not trigger on the Majesty's Pegasus. So the only card that does anything, if we want to special summon it now, is going to be specifically the Porcupine. So we'll just special summon the Porcupine, reset wind, I guess. And then we'll just add these two to the hand. And then we'll add our cards to the extra deck face up. So here, we can do like a Majesty's Pegasus for Secret Village if we're feeling like doing that. And we can also do, I guess, a QB probably, or Ogama. And then that'll probably be sufficient. So here, I guess, we'll go with Ogama and Majesty's Pegasus. This resets the wind. This can get us another body to tribute off of our cards, or we can just use it to special summon a Kirin from hand. In this case, I guess, because we don't need to tribute to summon Kirin, nor can we, which is a bit awkward, but it is what it is. So here, in this case, we have Porcupine, so we'll just go with these scales, I guess. Porcupine, Yata, and this is fine. And then we can Pendulum Summon. If we play Electromite though, that's also useful in the fact that it can destroy our scales, I guess, to kind of open them up for like certain other plays. And we can also put like whatever, I guess, Pendulum monster we want to our extra deck. In this case, I don't know. probably just the chronograph is great because that would be able to special summon our unicorn. So, funny main deck 1-up that enables us to do something, but okay. Now we can also only special summon one of these guys, which is going to be a little bit awkward, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is, right? So here, the better play is probably, well, it depends what you want. If we want to village our opponent, Majesty's Pegasus is definitely the play. If we want to just do Majespecter stuff, we can just summon these guys, but we have Bunbuku in hand, so we could have actually just did that, but we're just going to pretend we only have the Ogama to summon here. And we just still have our Pendulum Summon play after this, I guess, which is nice. So it's for sure something, I guess. So here, we'll go with the Tempest, I guess. And then we would go Ryu here. And then we would go effect of Majespecter's Wind here, normally to just special summon, I guess the Niue is probably acceptable. And then we would tribute it for the Tempest, and then the Majespecter Draco Ryu would trigger and allow us to special summon a Kirin from deck. But in the case of this hand, we can just simply activate Wind to tribute, or not tribute, to special summon the Unicorn from our hand. And then Tempest, tribute the Majespecter Draco Ryu, and then Unicorn effect to return itself to the hand. Also, one of the cards our opponent controls, or whatever sequence you want. There are a few sequences we can do, and there are reasons for all of them. But I don't think it's that useful to return Ryu, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, essentially Majespecter is just a pretty budget-friendly deck that you can just pick up and play without too much issues. It's not that like SR heavy, not that UR heavy, so pretty cheap and all to make. If we do want to, however, we can easily just remove the Majesty's Pegasus here, throw in a copy of Secret Village, and then yeah. This is just game against Tenpai, right? So we have removal for their normal summon essentially, and then they can't activate for Bin Droplet nor back row removal, and they can never play evenly matched, and a single Imperm is not going to do anything because there's nothing targetable aside from the Niue and I guess Majespecter Draco Ryu. Worth mentioning, I guess, is Majespecter Draco Ryu's effect here to special summon. If a card is tributed, is twice per turn for some reason. But yeah. I hope you guys consider picking up Majespecter. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.